Stevie Wonder uses technology to create the sounds of the future. I'm Ray Kurzweil. Well, it actually started when I was 5. I decided I wanted to be an inventor. Discovered the computer when I was 12. Started my first serious company when I was 25, Kurzweil Computer Products, 1973. We created the first synthesized voice, so I was getting into synthetic, sound production, character recognition, the first flatbed scanner, created the first reading machine for the blind. That company is now Nuance, which created Siri, the personal assistant you can talk to on your iPhone. And Stevie Wonder became actually our first customer of the Kurzweil reading machine for the blind. This was the first print-to-speech reading machine for the blind, which we introduced in 1976. And we became friends. We'd see each other on both coasts, and we would talk about technology issues, both for blindness and for music. And this went on for quite a few years. In 1982, he was showing me his new studio, which he called Wonderland. And he was lamenting, we've got these acoustic instruments, 19th century technology, that create still these sounds of choice, these beautiful sounds of the guitar and the piano and the violin. And then we have these new computerized instruments where I can play something and the computer will remember it, and I could play it back and play another line over it. Then I can edit them like I would edit a letter on a word processor, and you have this fantastic control over the sounds. But the sounds you have to work with are very thin and electrical. Wouldn't it be great if we could apply these very powerful control methods to these beautiful sounds of choice of acoustic instruments? And I thought about it and felt that that would be feasible to accomplish using really my field, which is pattern recognition, teaching computers to recognize patterns. And we would teach the computer to recognize the real salient patterns that make a piano. And using that kind of technology, I felt we could realize Stevie Wonder's challenge. So I said, okay, we could do this. Why don't you work with us? And we'll start a company, Kurzweil Music Systems, and you can be the musical advisor. So we worked together, and we kept sending him early prototypes, and he would give us his feedback. And over time, he became more and more enthusiastic that we were finally getting it. And we introduced, with Stevie Wonder's involvement and enthusiasm, the Kurzweil 250. We first showed it at the 1983 NAMM show. We started shipping it in 1984. And it really was recognized as the first electronic musical instrument that could realistically capture the sounds of a grand piano.
My name is Hal Chamberlain. I'm Director of Research and Development of Kurzweil Music Systems here in Waltham, Massachusetts. And came out in 1980. The title was Musical Applications of Microprocessors. I've heard over the years of so many music companies where the head engineer actually got his start by reading a copy of my book. Really, the first time that I met Ray Kurzweil was in, it would have been 1984, 1985. And he was in his corner office and kind of looked like a god, backlit and the halo and all that. So, but I had heard about the huge splash that the K250 made the first time it was shown at NAMM. I was still in this offline, compute for 4 hours to hear 4 minutes of sound kind of world. So it was a revelation that it could even be done at that point in time. And then I was looking at the man who did it.
We really wanted a philosophy and an architecture that would last for not just for years, but for decades, given the fact that the technology doubles in power every year, meaning it would be 1 billion times more powerful 30 years later. Today is 30 years later, and the technology is 1 billion times more powerful. And we're still using the same architecture because we were looking ahead to be able to take advantage of greater power, to be able to do more things while still not obsoleting the past. So our instruments today and the ones that we are now working on respect all of the, let's say, musical instruments and sound samples and that people have created over the decades. All of those will run in the new architecture while opening up new possibilities. Originally, we were concerned with being able to emulate many different types of instruments, piano, guitar, violin. Now we're concerned with being able to realistically emulate many different methods of creating musical sound, not just sampling, but also additive modeling, subtractive modeling, and physical modeling, as well as acoustic instruments and even analog synthesis, being able to incorporate all those methods within the architecture of our products. And always looking ahead, kind of aiming at the future.
Hi, I'm Tim Thompson. I'm Associate Director here at Youngchang R&D. I started at Kurzweil in 1985, and my first day I got to meet both Bob Moog and Ray Kurzweil. That was really exciting. We had these right product meetings with Ray Kurzweil and other engineers. We would all get around a table and discuss about what we thought the next cool product would be. And some amazing things came out of those meetings. A lot of the products that everybody knows. Watching the Super Bowl and see Rabbit Bundrick play a PC3K on stage, that's gold. That just makes this job a pure joy. Listening to tunes on the radio and, I know that. That's our sound. Watching Roger Waters do The Wall with so many Kurzweil keyboards on stage, it's just an immeasurable joy just watching these incredible musicians play our gear.
Hi, I'm Dave Weiser. I'm one of the sound designers here at Kurzweil R&D. Our architecture allows us to create a lot of new sounds that are used in current music, whether it's the bass sound from the Red Hot Chili Peppers or synth sounds from groups like the Beastie Boys or 50 Cent, Jay-Z. We have drum kits in there that reference lots of new modern acts, whether it's Maroon 5, artists like Lady Gaga, Blue Man Group, Beyonce. It's all in there, and it's all referenced by name, so you can just call up these presets. You can load and read samples from the K2000, which came out in 1991, all the way up through the K2500, the K2600, all of these sample libraries that these artists accumulate over the years can remain intact, and they can, with a minimal amount of tweaking, they can be loaded into our newest flagship product, the PC3K.
The tools to do any kind of creative work are in everybody's hands. And so that's what we've tried to do at Kurzweil Music, is provide the most advanced tools with an architecture that continues to grow as the technology expands exponentially. And it's really everybody that's being empowered by this exponential growth of information technology. And if you go out a few more decades, Kurzweil Music's been around 30 years, go out another 30 years, we'll be just about at the singularity, at a point where we will have made ourselves smarter. So we'll be able to appreciate many new forms of music and create music, and we will all be extremely talented musicians able to create music. Already computers help us to create music even if we don't have formal training. we're going to make ourselves smarter in each way, including musically, with these future technologies.